Well, hello there, I'm Detroit. Can you guess what we'll be drawing today? The clue you're looking for is in the title for the video and the intro animation. Let's make a bunch of raccoons. I'm using Photoshop to make some digital illustrations of raccoons today. This video was definitely not my original idea, but a commission. Yeah, you heard that right. I got commissioned to draw a bunch of raccoons. This is for an animal documentary project. These raccoons will show up in the end credits. The reason I accepted was, first of all, because I wanted to help a friend, and secondly, because I've never drawn anything resembling a raccoon before. And let me tell you, it's really fun. What you're watching on the screen right now is my first attempt at portraying a raccoon. You can't see it right now, but I had pulled up a picture on my second monitor and I tried to freehand it on my canvas. I wasn't given a lot of artistic directions for this project, so I scrambled a bit to find what style I wanted to use. In the end, I decided to completely scratch that first draft and try again with a different picture. Now I'm going to show you the process for all 4 raccoons I drew. I wanted to keep the first attempt in so that you guys can see that it's not always straightforward. It's okay to make mistakes and spend hours on something you simply won't use. That's what a study is, and that's also what makes you improve over time. Drawing these 4 chaps definitely made me improve. Now that I'm looking at my timeline in Premiere Pro, I can immediately tell that with each new furry friend I spend a bit less time drawing to reach the same point. The first one, I had to find the right style and shading and everything. The other ones, I simply mimicked the work I had done to follow the same art direction. Doing all of this was definitely a big step for me in drawing. If you watched last week's digital drawing process, you'll know that I plan on making several iterations of elemental girls. This is basically the same thing. If I want the girls to look good, I will need to do all of that as well. Follow the same basic principles of drawing to make sure that the art style is similar, at least. And when I reach a level at which I'm comfortable in my ability to represent what I see in my head, I can also go back and improve upon all drawings. For real guys, I didn't think drawing a bunch of raccoons would be so eye-opening. Anyway, let's talk about the process for a bit. For all of these, I started by sketching the beast by freehanding it. I also flip my canvas horizontally a lot, which is a very good tool to see where your proportions are messed up. One thing I encourage you to do is to go in the Photoshop parameters and assign a quick key to the horizontal flip. Mine is F2. It makes me able to flip the drawing quickly at any point, which is a big plus. After the sketch, I did one of my favorite activity, line art. Same brush as always, the one I'm most comfortable with. After drawing Ash, the fire girl last week, I think I better understand how I like the thickness of my lines, and today the result was definitely nice in terms of line art. Something I also did is play around with line thickness at the edges. In some places where I want to emphasize the shape, I made the line a bit stronger, like on the back of the raccoon. In other places, like for the fur, where the line is more wavy due to the abundance of fur, I made the line much more thin and less defined. This is also a good trick to direct the viewer's attention on a specific part of the drawing. After the line art, it's coloring time, baby! One thing I had to do for these raccoons, and that I'm not used to, was to make the illustration look good on any sort of background. You see, because this is supposed to go in the end credits of a movie, the background will be black. So my goal entering the coloring phase was to make a picture that would read well in front of any background. This is the reason I started the coloring in front of the middle of the scale gray. Going with something very neutral definitely helps for that. That's because the same tone can look really light on black and really dark on white. So using a neutral gray balances that out quite well. I'm not going to lie, the fact that raccoons are basically only in shades of grey also helped a lot, as my tones and value game isn't that strong yet. By the way, for viewers that know a bit less about visual arts, tone is the color, basically like blue or red or yellow, and value is how dark or light the color is. The third element of color theory is saturation, which defines the vibrancy of the color, you could say. The more saturated it is, the less grey it appears. like the more flashy it is. Back to the raccoons. The way I color them is by going in with a neutral gray and making sure all of the lines are closed. After that, I simply have to fill in the silhouette I selected with the bucket tool. Then I'm using two clipping mask layers, one for the darker tone and one for the lighter tone. I use an additional layer that is just plain black for the raccoon's eyes, nose, and also for the white light reflection of these. And after I'm done with that, I simply move on to the next raccoon. If you're wondering about how long it took, it was about 50 minutes per raccoon for the original drawing. Normally my seamless editing will hide that a bit, but I also went back to the drawings a lot in between recordings. Because this is a drawing I'm making for somebody else, I have to make sure that it corresponds to what they want. So off camera I had to come back a few times and change this or that, make the arm a bit shorter for this one or the back protruding less for the other. In total, with these adjustments as well, I think the length would be around an hour 30 per raccoon, which is kinda short if I'm being honest. That's mostly due to the simplistic style I opted for. Had I chosen to draw realistic raccoons, well, that would have been much longer. And I don't think I could have finished even one of them. I can't pull that off. I have to play with my strength, and that's that style rather than realistic. Of course, I could have gone with the in-between solution, maybe make more interesting shading with gradients or something, but I don't think it is necessary, because these images will pop on screen just for a second. First of all, the details won't be seen, and also the image is clear like that. I don't think I'm wrong if I say that you know at first glance it's a raccoon, especially at the end of a documentary about raccoons. The simple shading with hard angles like I did shows the texture of the fur pretty well. They also help define the shapes like arms and legs. The black spots around the eyes and on the tail are also a staple of the animal. You recognize it at a glance. Having too much detail can actually be detrimental for the picture if it stops it from being clear. Anyway, these are just my thoughts on the process. As you will see, at the end I added a few bits of grass and food and wood to add something interesting. That is so the raccoons won't be floating in the black void of the screen, but will be somewhat anchored by these items. The pose of the animal is made clearer when you know where the ground is, I guess. Again, as I'm finishing the digital drawing, I would like to add that this drawing process is not actually 100% complete. Because it is a commission, there will be more back and forth between me and the filmmaker. But I have to finish this video, so I can't wait until the last moment to edit it and show you the result. Maybe if I'm done by when this video gets uploaded, I'll put the final versions of the furry buddies on my Instagram at d3_sd. So go check it out, just in case. Also, subscribe to this channel so you can see more of my drawing processes. I upload every Thursday and Sunday and I gladly have you tag along. You can also like this video if you enjoyed it and maybe even tell me in the comments. That's 2 seconds of your time and it means the world to me. In any case, I'll be here until next video. See you then. Bye!